Hello students, we shall be studying about Science 1, Chapter 9, Carbon Compounds. The chapter is being divided into three parts. Today we will be studying about part 1. In the part 1, we shall be studying about the introduction, the bonds in carbon compound, the bond formation in carbon compound, the different types of bond that is covalent bond, double bond and triple bond, carbon as a versatile element, and the characteristic of carbon. So we shall be covering all this topic. Let's start with the first topic, introduction. Carbon is an element which is available abundantly in the nature. In the nature, it is either in the free form or in the combined form. Free form, it is present as carbon element, and in the combined, it is merged with different elements together, and it is also available in combined nature. The basic introduction for carbon, the symbol is C, the atomic number is 6, atomic mass number is 12, the electronic configuration is 2, 4. So when I say 2, 4, the first orbit has 2 electrons and the second orbit has 4 electrons. The second orbit is incomplete. It requires 4 electrons to complete its octet, and therefore the valency of carbon is 4. Next one is organic and inorganic compound. That means carbon is present in the organic as well as in the inorganic compound. In the organic compounds, that is the products or the objects which are obtained directly from the plant or animal origin are called as organic compound, and the products or obtained from the plant minerals are called as inorganic in nature. So both organic and inorganic compounds have carbon as their main element. Now I have written it as, if you can see, ammonium cyanate, when you heat up you get urea. This reaction we have done in our previous class in the chapter carbon, an important element. A German scientist had synthesized the organic compound urea on reaction with inorganic compound ammonium cyanate. So there are many organic compounds which are derived from the inorganic compounds, and therefore the organic chemistry is also called as a chemistry of carbon compound, because inorganic compounds are generally taken on reaction with them we get a organic compound. So organic compound when we obtain is nothing but generally a carbon compound in nature, and that is why organic chemistry is also known as a chemistry of carbon compound. The next topic, bonds in carbon compound. The first one is ionic compound. Ionic compound, we have studied the bond formed between a two net positive and net negative charge. So these ionic compounds have great high melting and boiling point. The reason why, because the bond is formed by the electrostatic force between the two charges, and that is why the breaking of these bonds is a little difficult, and that is why they generally have high melting and boiling point. They conduct electricity. Since they are charged molecules, they conduct electricity in the dissolved as well as in the molten state. Now if you see this compound, these are all nothing but carbon compounds, and they generally have the melting and boiling point lower than 300 degrees Celsius. So from this we can derive or understand that they have a weak electromolecular attractive forces. That means the electromolecular forces or the bond between the carbon compounds are very weak, and that is why they generally break up easily, and therefore the melting and boiling point is very low. Glucose and urea are not electrical conductors. Glucose and urea both a carbon compound. They are not electrical conductors, and therefore we can say most of the carbon compounds are bad conductors of electricity. They are not a good conductors. They lack ionic bond, and therefore they do not produce ions. So since there is a different types of bond which are present in carbon compound, the ionic bond is absent. Since the ionic bond is absent, they will not produce ions. Next one, the bond formation in carbon compound. If we see the series of element, carbon from hydrogen to neon, carbon with 6 atomic number, the valency is 2 comma 4. As we have said, the valency is 4, that means it is the unstable compound. So to attain the electronic configuration, it has two ways. Either it can lose 4 electrons and reach to helium with the atomic number 2, or it can gain 4 electrons and attain the electronic configuration of 10. Let's see which way does carbon attain its stability. The first one, to attain the configuration of a noble gas helium, that is 2, by losing one after another all the 4 valence electrons. So the from 6 it has to reach to 2. So what they are saying, it is either so it's decreasing. So when it is decreasing, it has to lose electron. So it will start losing the electrons. 4 valency electrons are there. So one by one it will lose electron. As it is losing electron, it tends to develop a positive charge on it. So we have a carbon with 4 positive charge. Why? 4, because it is losing 4 electrons, and that is why it is developing a 4 positive charge. Now let's see what is the drawback of this step. Net positive charge increases. Okay, so as we are moving towards helium, that is on the left hand side, the negative charge, sorry, the electrons are leaving, and that is why the positive charge on the carbon is increasing. First electron, second electron, third electron. As the electrons are leaving, more and more energy is needed for the electrons to be evacuated or exiting. Ultimately, when it reaches the electronic configuration of helium, it becomes unstable element. Why? Because it is developing 4 charges, positive charge. The molecule, the carbon element is small in size, but the charge developed on it is very high, that is high net charge, and that is why it becomes unstable in nature, and therefore it does not take this route, because even if it obtains the configuration of a noble gas, it still is unstable in nature because there is a high positive charge on it, and therefore this method or this step of attaining the noble gas is not taken by carbon. Now let's see what is the next step. To attain the stable configuration of noble gas neon by accepting one by one the 4 electrons in the valence shell. So in the previous step it was reducing, now it's moving to the right hand side, so it is gaining electrons. So this is your series of element. Now it is moving to the right hand side. So from 6 to 10 it is increasing. So when it is increasing, the electrons are added. When the electrons are added, there is a negative charge developed on the carbon. So it becomes an anion now. So now let's see what is the drawback of this procedure. The net negative charge increases. Okay, so as the electrons are being taken, is as it is accepting electrons, the negative charge keeps on increasing. Again, more energy is required. If the first electron is taken, when the second electron is to be accepted, more energy is required to accept that electron. Again, the anion becomes unstable in nature. Why? Because the size of the carbon is small and the charge on it is a big charge, that is 4 negative charge, and that is why makes the makes the anion, that is carbon anion, unstable in nature, and therefore does not take this route also. Though it is attaining the electronic configuration of 10, that is noble gas, it is still unstable in nature, and that is why this step of attaining the configuration is also not possible for carbon. The third step, to attain the configuration of neon by sharing 4 electrons of valence shell with 4 valence electrons of the other atom. So now what they do, now what this carbon is doing, carbon is attaining configuration of neon, but now instead of taking electrons, it is sharing electrons. So the two atoms share valence electrons with each other. So there is two atoms of carbon or different elements coming together and they are sharing the electrons. What happens when they are sharing? So when the valence shells overlap with each other, they accommodate the share electrons. With this, what happens? They will attain the noble gas configuration without any charging, because they are neither taking, neither giving electrons, but they are mutually sharing the electrons. So the negative charge or positive charge is not developed on the carbon atom, and therefore the atom remains electrically neutral. Since there is no charge developed, it is stable in nature, and therefore generally carbon atom takes this route of sharing the valence electron to attain its electronic configuration. Let's move to the next topic, covalent bond, double and triple bond. The chemical bond formed by the sharing of two valence electrons between the two atoms is called as a covalent bond. So when two valence electrons of two different carbon atoms or any other element come together and they share, those type of bonds are called as a covalent bond. A covalent bond is represented by drawing an electron dot structure. So when we have to represent an electron dot, represent covalent bond, an electron dot structure will be is represented or shown. The covalent bond is indicated by showing the circle. So in the circular manner, we will show the covalent bond. But if we do not show in the circle format, the covalent bond can also be represented by a small line joining the symbol of two atoms, and the such type of structure when we do, those are called as the structural formula. Generally, the shared electrons are either shown in the form of a dot or in the form of a cross. Let's see how is the electron dot structure and the structural formula represented of carbon, hydrogen, oxygen and nitrogen. So first we will do the electron dot structure and the line structure, also called a structural formula of hydrogen molecule with a single bond. Hydrogen is nothing but H1. So we have only one, this hydrogen atom with only one electron. Similarly, hydrogen atom with molecule. Since I said hydrogen molecule is nothing but H2. So when they overlap, you will get two electrons. So this is called as the overlapping, which is taking place two circles. So here the electrons are represented by a dot. So this is your H2 molecule. Now let's see how is the line structure done. So your hydrogen 1 and second hydrogen, 2 electrons which are there. Now instead of 2 electrons, I will be represented by a line. So this shows that there is a single bond taking place between two hydrogen atoms. So the hydrogen molecule is formed by a single bond because there is only one electrons which are shared by each of the hydrogen molecule. Sorry, hydrogen atom. Electron dot structure and the line structure of oxygen molecule with a double bond. So oxygen is nothing but 2 comma 6. So I'll show you the oxygen. Now here I have not shown the 2 electrons, only the outermost electrons, that is 6 electrons is been shown. So this is your oxygen 1 and this is your second oxygen. Now when they overlap with each other, you will see that the valency gets filled. Like if I see oxygen 1, there are 6 green electrons. The electrons are color coded. The green ones are for oxygen 1. So there are 6 and 2 which is shared. So it becomes 6 plus 2 which is equal to 8. So the valency of oxygen 1 is completed. Similarly, when I go to the second oxygen atom, the red color dots are 6 plus 2 green color dots which are shared from the oxygen 1. So again the valency becomes 8 and therefore the oxygen molecule attains its electronic stability by mutually sharing 2 electrons from each of the oxygen atom. This is your electron dot structure. Now let's see the line structure. So this is oxygen with 6 electrons in the outermost orbit. 2 electrons from oxygen 1 and 2 electrons from oxygen 2 combine together or share together and the bond is formed. So this is nothing but 2 electrons. That means 2 electrons of oxygen 1, 2 electrons of oxygen 2 come together and that is why a double bond is formed. So oxygen molecule consists of a double bond. As compared to hydrogen, since only one electron was shared, we had a single bond. In oxygen there are 4 pairs of electrons coming together, that means 2 from each oxygen, and that is why a double bond is formed. Next, electron dot structure and line structure of nitrogen molecule consisting of triple bond. Now we'll move to the next one, that is triple bond. Oxygen electronic configuration is 2 comma 5. So the nitrogen is nitrogen is 2 comma 5. So the first nitrogen with 5 electrons, second nitrogen with 5 electrons. So when they overlap with each other, we see that the valency gets filled, like that is 5 yellow color plus 3 pink color, that is 5 electrons of nitrogen 1 plus 3 electrons which are shared by nitrogen second atom. So it 5 plus 3 becomes 8. So the valency is filled, the configuration is obtained. Similarly, when we move to the second nitrogen atom, it has 5 pink color electrons, that is 5 electrons of its own, and 3 yellow colors, that is electrons which are taken or shared from nitrogen 1. So again the electronic configuration is attained of nitrogen 2. And you see there are 3 pairs, that is 6 pairs of 6 electrons shared, that is 3 pairs, and that is why there is a triple bond formed between the nitrogen molecule. Since there are 6 electrons shared, so 3 pair of electrons are obtained. Since there are 3 pairs, we get a triple bond on nitrogen molecule. So nitrogen molecule is a triple bond in nature. The oxygen molecule is formed by the chemical combination of two oxygen atoms. Nitrogen molecule is formed by the chemical combination of two nitrogen atoms. So when the two oxygen atoms are coming together, an O2 molecule is formed. This O2 molecule consists of two covalent bonds and therefore they are a double bond. The two nitrogen molecule, sorry, the nitrogen atom combine together to form a nitrogen molecule. They have three covalent bond in, and therefore they are triple bond in nature. Now we go to the different example, that is two different atoms coming together, that is methane. Methane consists of carbon and hydrogen. So how is a methane molecule formed? So first we take is carbon, single carbon, that is only one carbon. Carbon is nothing but 2 comma 4. So the first orbit has two electrons and the outermost electron has outermost orbit has 4 electrons. The valency of carbon is also 4, so it requires 4 more electrons to complete its octet, and therefore 4 hydrogens come here to complete its octet. So when there is a sharing of electron taking place, the 4 electrons of carbon combine with 4 atoms of hydrogen. So the outermost orbit of the carbon is also completed, as well as the orbit or the configuration of hydrogen is also attained. So when they overlap, they are sharing the electrons. So if you see, the outermost orbit of carbon is nothing but consisting of 8 electrons, and the first octet of the hydrogen is also completing with 2 electrons. So this is your structure for methane. This is your carbon. Then 4 hydrogens come. So there is a bond forming take place, and that is why this is your line structure of methane, that is CH4. Let's move to the next topic, carbon, a versatile element. Share the valence electrons to form covalent bond. Carbon has a property to share the valence electrons and therefore a covalent bond is formed. Because of this property, there are various carbon compounds which are formed in nature. The objects are majority made from carbon. If you see in the nature, except glass and soil, many of the other compounds which are existing are generally made from carbon as an important constituent. If you see, the living kingdom is mainly dependent on carbon as one of its components in forming the specific compound. If we take an example, methane, which is the smallest carbon, to DNA, which is a complicated molecule, generally consists of carbon as an important constituent. The molecular mass of carbon can range up to 10 raised to 12. Carbon atoms come together and they form a covalent bond, and because of this covalent bond nature, big molecules of carbon compound exist in nature. Now we will move to the next topic, the last topic, that is characteristic of carbon compounds. Generally we'll study about the characteristic of carbon. The first property is that because of its unique ability to form strong covalent bonds, so since they have the carbon is having the property to form covalent bonds, we get a variety of small molecules to big molecules using this covalent bond. Catenation power, this property of forming a bond is called as your catenation power. We get two types. One is a closed chain compound or an open chain compound. An open chain can be straight or branched in nature. When it is a closed chain, it is generally in a ring structure. The covalent bond are strong and stable. Because of this covalent bond nature in carbon compound, the carbon compound is very strong as well as stable in nature. One or two or three covalent bonds. So we have already studied the three different covalent bonds in the previous slides. Carbon can have one covalent bond, two covalent bond, or three covalent bond. So from multiple bonds to single bonds, all the different components are present. Let's see. So first example is ethane. Here ethane has single bond. So if you can see in the picture, carbon to carbon, there is only one bond which is present. So this is your example of single bond. Next one is ethene. If you see the structure, two carbon bonds are joined by a two double bond. That means four electrons are shared, two from each of the carbon, and that is why it develops to double bond in nature. The last one is ethylene. Ethylene, if you see, carbon to carbon, there are three bonds. That means six electrons and three pair of electrons from each of them are coming, and that is why we get three bonds. So carbon has a property to form single, double and triple bond. Because of its tetravalent nature, it can form a variety of compounds because it has valencies. So, four different components can join to carbon, and we get a variety of components formed. As per the bonding changes, the property of the compound also changes. Now, see, let's see. Like in the first one, there are only hydrogen, and that is why it is a methane molecule. In the next one, I replace one hydrogen with a chlorine molecule and the compound becomes chloromethane. Now, instead of one chlorine, I substitute one more hydrogen and replace it with chlorine. So the compound becomes dichloromethane. Next, I replace one more hydrogen with chlorine. It becomes trichloromethane. And the last, all the four hydrogens are replaced with four different chloride. It becomes carbon tetrachloride. So as you see, the valency are four. So I replace it with the four different chlorine atoms. So I get different properties and different compounds. Not only chlorine, I can replace it with oxygen, nitrogen, sulfur, any halogen or phosphorus atom. So as I replace the hydrogen with this elements, I will get different compounds. Last property, carbon has one more important characteristic, that is because of its large number of carbon compounds, it is isomerism. Now, what is isomerism? They have the same general formula, but the representation or the structural formula can change. We will be studying about this isomerism in the next video. With this, we finish the first part of the chapter. The topics which we had decided are done. We shall continue the remaining part of the chapter in our next video.